care enough in your healing over their comfort. Choose your dreams over their distractions. Choose your peace over their chaos. Choose your wholeness over their opinions. You are not selfish for choosing yourself. You are sacred, and honoring yourself is an act of divine alignment. You don't need permission to be powerful. Care enough. You don't need validation to be valuable. The world may not applaud your transformation, but heaven will honor it. Some people only love the version of you who made their lives easier, but that's not your burden to carry. Woman, and care enough. You are not called to be their savior. You are called to be free. And freedom looks boundaries. Freedom sounds like no. Freedom feels like rest. It is not your job to keep proving you're worthy of love. You're born worthy. You were born chosen. You were born enough. So dry your tears, silence their doubts, reclaim your name, rebuild your strength, and walk like the woman who finally chose herself. Because when you do, care enough, you realign with heaven's purpose for your life. You begin to live, not just exist. You begin to overflow, not just survive. From the time she is a little girl, a woman is often taught to be everything for everyone else. Be the good daughter, the obedient sister, be the caring friend, be the nurturing wife, be the selfless mother. And as the years pass, she learns to measure her worth by how well she meets the needs of others. How much she gives, care enough, how well she sacrifices, how quietly she endures. She learns to apologize for wanting more, to hide her exhaustion, to accept the bare minimum, and to call it enough. But there comes a moment, a holy interruption in the rhythm of her pleasing and soul draining patterns, when her spirit wishes care enough, choose yourself. And when she hears it, she is shaken, because for the first time she is being asked to do something radical. Something brave, something she was never taught to put her needs first. But then the doubts come rushing in. Won't they call me selfish? Care enough, won't they accuse me of abandoning them? What if they don't understand? What if they walk away? And here's where truth must pierce through the noising. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is sacred. It is survival. It is the first step to becoming whole. See, selfishness is rooted in harm, in disregard, in prideful ambition. But self-choice, it is rooted in wisdom. It is rooted in awareness. It is rooted in the realization that no one else can make your healing a priority but you. It is the understanding that unless you take care of your own soul, care of mind and body, you will become a ghost in your own life, performing roles without living truth. There is nothing holy about running on empty. There is nothing noble about putting yourself last until there is nothing left to give. And contrary to what the world may have taught you, a woman who chooses herself is not rebellious. She is rising. A woman who chooses herself is not abandoning others. She is anchoring herself. Care enough. A woman who chooses herself is not selfish. She is sacredly awake. Let's call it what it really is. Choosing yourself is returning to yourself. And care enough, reclaiming the version of you that existed before it was weaponized, before your no was met with resistance. Care enough, before your love for others became a cage that trapped your own becoming. Choosing yourself might mean walking away from a table where your worth was never honored. It might mean disappointing people who were used to your compliance. It might mean say enough when they expected you to endure more. You were meant to live in truth. You teach them that your voice matters. You teach them that your peace is a priority. You teach them that your joy is not negotiable. You teach them that access to you is not a right, it's a privilege. And when you rise in this truth, you will lose people. But you will find you. Care enough. You will grieve the roles you once played, the titles you carried like chains, the version of you who lived in the shadows of everyone else's expectations. Enough, but you will breathe deeper. You will sleep best, stand taller, because your soul knows what it feels like to be seen again by you. Choosing yourself is a spiritual act. It is you saying, I trust the God in me. I trust the wisdom in me. I trust the calling in me. It is no longer waiting for outside permission to live inside purpose. Care enough. It is the moment when you no longer settle for less because you have finally met the woman God designed you to be. And she is not meant to shrink. Choosing yourself is hard, requires unlearning. It requires courage. It requires letting go of who you were to make space for who you are becoming. Care enough. It may mean rest when others demand performance. It may mean silence when they crave explanation. It may mean peace over chaos, solitude over noise, and care enough, and truth over convenience. Because the cost of betraying yourself is far greater than the cost of disappointing others. And care enough. Every time you say yes to what breaks you just to please them, you fracture your own soul. Every time you stay quiet when you need to speak, you lose pieces of your voice. Every time you dim your light for their comfort, you walk further away from your purpose. Woman, you were not created to be a background character in your own life. You were not made to be silent, unseen, or sacrificed for everyone else's happiness. Care enough. You were made in divine image and glorious purpose with gifts that deserve to be nurtured, not neglected. Choosing yourself is the reclamation of that truth. Care enough. It is the boundary that says, I will no longer abandon myself to keep others comfortable. It is the decision that says, I am allowed to want more. I am allowed to change. I am allowed to grow. It is the freedom that says, my needs matter too. Your peace returns. Your joy multiplies. Karen, your confidence begins to blossom again. You stop seeking approval because you've already accepted yourself. Care enough. You stop begging for love because you've chosen to love you deeply and unconditionally. You begin to move differently. Not out of pride, but out of purpose. You no longer settle for crumbs because you've realized you were always the feast. Care enough. You walk away from places that cannot hold you because you've become too full of truth to live in small spaces. And once you've made this choice, once you've crossed over into self-honor, you will never go back. You will never again beg for love you can give yourself. And care enough. You will never again explain why your peace matters. You will never again apologize for taking up space. There's a deep kind of tiredness that doesn't come from lack of sleep. It's not just the weariness of the body. It's the heaviness of the soul. And care enough. It's the fatigue that settles in your spirit when you're giving and giving and giving, and no one has noticed that you're running on empty. Care enough. It's the exhaustion that builds when you've become the solution for everyone else's crisis, the listener for everyone else's problems, the strong one in every situation, but no one has asked if you're okay. That is emotional exhaustion. And it is real. It is sacred. And it is a signal from your soul that something has gone unbalanced too often. Women are applauded for how much they give, how much they carry. Care enough, how much they endure, how much they sacrifice. But what the world claps for can slowly drain the life out of you. There comes a point when your emotional output exceeds your emotional input. You give more than you receive. You love more than you're loved. And care enough, you carry what's not yours. You fix what others keep breaking. And care enough, you become a source of light in everyone else's darkness. But no one notices when your flame begins to flicker. You show up for them in the middle of your storm. You pour into others while you're secretly breaking. You pretend to be okay because the thought of letting others down feels heavier than your own pain. And so you give and give. You see, care enough. Emotional exhaustion doesn't happen overnight. It's not a moment. It's a slow unraveling. Challenge and care enough. It's the daily denial of your own needs in the name of being dependable. It's silencing your own pain so others can be comfortable. And self is saying yes when your heart is screaming no. It's being the strong one, the reliable one, the responsible one, until you collapse beneath the weight of that unspoken expectation. And when you live in a constant state of overgiving, it affects everything. Your joy becomes dull. Your creativity, your patience runs thin. Your body aces. Your mind races. Your spirit begins to whisper, something is not right. And yet you keep pushing because the world around you has convinced you that rest is weakness and boundaries are selfish. But here's what needs to be said. You are not a machine. Fair enough. You are a soul, and your soul needs tending. Your emotions need room. Your heart needs care. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to stop pouring into others long enough to refill yourself. Some of that exhaustion comes from relationships that only take and care enough. People who depend on you but never ask about you. People who expect you to be available but are never present for your pain. People who use your kindness but never reciprocate your care. People who drain your energy and call it love. It's time to stop normalizing one-side relationships and care enough. It's time to stop carrying what others have refused to face. It's time to stop sacrificing your peace so others can avoid their growth. It's time to stop being loyal to people who are comfortable with your exhaustion. As long as they stay satisfied, your heart deserves to be considered. Care enough. Your needs deserve to be met. Your emotions deserve space. You're not weak for being wary. You are not dramatic for needing rest. Care enough. You are not broken because you've reached your limit. And being human means having needs. You can't always be strong. It means you need time to cry, to exhale, to disconnect, to return to yourself. It means your strength lies not in constant giving, but in knowing when to stop and refuel. Listen to your soul. It's speaking through your anxiety, through the restlessness, through the heaviness you can't explain, through the fatigue that sleep doesn't fix. These are not signs of failure. They are invitations. Invitations to return home to yourself. Invitations to heal. Invitations to say, enough. I need care too. And when you begin to care yourself with the same passion you've cared for others, something shifts. You start creating boundaries. You start protecting your peace. You start questioning who gets your energy. You start seeing yourself not just as a helper, but as someone who is worthy of help too. You begin to redefine what love looks like. It's no longer sacrificing your joy for others. It's choosing relationships that nourish you too. It's surrounding yourself with people who notice when your light dims, people who pour into you, people who check on you, people who value your presence, care enough, or not just your service. And yes, some people will resist this new version of you. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're distant. Karen, they'll say you're selfish. But let them talk, because for the first time, you're choosing you. Care enough. You're choosing to stop bleeding for people who wouldn't even give you a bandage. You're choosing to rest without guilt, to say no without explaining, to leave rooms that feel heavy, release roles that were never yours to hold. So take the break. So close the door. Put the phone on silent. Breathe. Krantz, sleep, laugh, heal, journal, sing, worship. Whatever you need to do to return to yourself, do it without apology, without guilt, without fear. Healing is not just about crying the tears, praying the prayers, or going on the retreats. Care enough. Healing is not just about letting go of the pain. You must also let go of the pattern that allowed that pain to stay. And that begins with boundaries. And care enough, because the truth is, no matter how many times you say you're done, no matter how many times you cry over being mistreated, overlooked, or used, if you don't set boundaries, you'll find yourself in the same cycle, repeating the same wounds with different people. Care enough. Healing without boundaries is like building a house without walls. Everything you're trying to protect will keep leaking out. See, and care enough, boundaries are not walls to keep love out. They are doors that determine who is safe to let in. They are the lines you draw to protect your peace, preserve your growth, and prioritize your healing. Boundaries are not a sign you're bitter. They are proof that you are becoming wise. For far too long, care enough, many women have been taught that love means saying yes all the time. That forgiveness means tolerance. That being strong means never needing space. Care enough. That kindness means never having limits. The truth is, healing is not possible without boundaries, because the moment you begin to heal, you realize you can't go back to the environments, relationships, and habits that made you sick. Care enough. You can't keep saying yes to what God is calling you to say no to. You can't keep making excuses for behavior that breaks your spirit. Care enough. You can't keep giving your energy people who only reach for you when they need to be fed. Without them, you stay in survival mode. Care enough. You stay available to people who are not available for you. You stay exposed to toxicity and call it loyalty. You keep quiet to avoid conflict. Care enough. You shrink yourself to be accepted. And slowly, silently, you begin to disappear, piece by piece, boundary by boundary. Care enough. Healing begins the first time you say no and don't explain why. Care enough. Healing begins the first time you don't answer that call, because your spirit knows it will drain you. Care enough. Healing begins the first time you cancel plans, because your soul needs solitude more than small talk. Enough. Healing begins the first time you walk away from a relationship that only survives through your self-neglect. Healing begins the first time you realizing, care enough. I matter too. You were not created to carry other people's emotional baggage at the cost of your own sanity. You were not created to be their fixer, their doormat, their cushion. You were not created to hold everyone together while falling apart inside. That is not your calling. That is your conditioning. Care enough. And boundaries are how you break free from it. Some people won't like your boundaries. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them call you distant. Let them call you selfish. Let them misunderstand you, because the ones who truly care about you will adjust. They will respect the space you need. Care enough. They will honor the limits you set. And those who don't, they were never really truly connected to your well-being, only to your access. When you begin to set boundaries, you will lose some people, but you yourself, you will find your peace, your strength, your rhythm, your truth. Care enough. You will learn that you don't have to keep sacrificing yourself to be loved. You don't have to shrink your voice to keep the peace. Care enough. You don't have to accept less just because you're afraid to be alone. There is something holy about a woman who knows her limits. There is something powerful about a woman who can say enough. There is something liberating about a woman who no longer waits for people to respect her, but teaches them how. Boundaries are not just about saying no to others. They're also about saying no to you, to the parts of you that sabotage your peace. Care enough to the part that overcommits, to the part that avoids confrontation, to the part that says yes out of guilt and stays quiet out of fear. A healing comes when you hold yourself accountable too. Boundaries will stretch you. They will challenge the people pleaser in you. Care enough. They will confront your fears of abandonment. They'll expose the ways you've settled for less. But they will also strengthen you. They will protect the woman you're becoming. They will create space for healthy relationships. They will give you room to breathe, to rest, to rise. Care enough. And yes, boundaries are biblical. Jesus had boundaries. He didn't heal everyone in the crowd. He stepped away to pray. He chose rest. He walked away from places where there was no faith. He loved deeply, but he loved with wisdom. He didn't let every voice have access to him. And if Jesus set boundaries, why do we feel guilty doing the same? Some people will try to guilt you out of your boundaries. Care enough. They'll remind you how much you've always been there, how much they need you, how different things will be if you start saying no. But your healing is not up for negotiation. Your peace is not a bargaining chip. You can love people and still say no. You can care and still walk away. You can be kind and still protect your space. So allow yourself to be protected. Allow yourself to be poured into. Allow yourself to be respected. Not just needed. Allow yourself to grow out of roles that were never yours. Allow yourself to say, care enough. This version of me no longer accepts what the old version of me tolerated. From the moment a woman is born, the world tries to teach her that her worth is measured by how much she can endure, that her value is tied to her ability to give, to serve, to stretch herself thin for the benefit of others. She is praised when she is silent, applauded when she is selfless, and rewarded when she sacrifices her own needs for the comfort of those around her. Somewhere along the way, she starts believing that pain is a prerequisite for love, that suffering is a symbol of loyalty, and that saying yes to everyone else means she is good enough, worthy, lovable. You do not become more worthy because you've broken yourself to hold others together. You are not more lovable because you've tolerated mistreatment. You are not holier because you stayed in places that drained you. Care enough. You are not more woman because you gave up your dreams so others could chase theirs. That's not love. That's not strength. That's not identity. Too many women are walking through life exhausted, bitter, resentful, and numb. Not because they don't love deeply, not care enough, but because they've been taught that lonely counts if it hurts. That kindness only matters if it costs them something. That their goodness is measured in how much of themselves they're willing to lose for others. This is a lie passed down through generations. Woven into culture, reinforced by religion, romanticized in stories, and lived out in real life by women who suffer in silence, smile through pain enough, and convince themselves that being depleted is somehow noble. You were valuable before you ever did anything for anyone. Your existence carries worth and care enough. Your presence carries purpose. Your breath, your voice, your soul. They matter not because of what you give to others, But because of who you are, you do not have to earn love through hardship. You do not have to prove loyalty through pain. You do not have to qualify for dignity through self-denial. The problem with tying your value to sacrifice is that it never ends. There's always someone who needs more. Someone who expects more, someone takes more. Care enough. And before you realize it, you built a life around being needed, not being known. You become essential to everyone but yourself. Care enough, you've made everyone else's needs a priority while burying your own under the weight of obligation. And when you finally stop, when you finally say, I can't do this anymore, when you dare to put yourself first, the same people you've sacrificed for may turn on you. Why? Care enough, because they were never invested in you. They were invested in what you gave them. You are not a servant to other people's comfort. Care enough. You are not a tool to be used until you break. You are not here to be the emotional, spiritual, financial, or physical backbone of everyone around you. Care enough. Yes, love requires compassion. Yes, relationships require generosity. Yes, life calls for moments of sacrifice. But those moments should come from a place of overflow, not obligation. From choice, not coercion. From love, not lack. When sacrifice becomes your identity, care enough, you lose sight of your own needs. And when your value is tied to being needed, you don't know who you are when you're not saving someone else. And care enough, that's not love. That's codependency dressed as commitment. You have the right to say no. The right to rest. You have the right to change. You have the right to receive. Real love doesn't ask you to die to be seen. Real love doesn't demand you to disappear. A real love doesn't celebrate your silence. Real love calls you into wholeness, not brokenness. Care enough. And it starts with you recognizing that you are allowed to be full. You are allowed to be well. Care enough. You are allowed to be whole without giving every piece of yourself away. You don't owe the world your suffering to justify your existence. And care enough. It looks like setting boundaries even when it makes others uncomfortable. It looks like